What changed between the second and third periods?
Well, I thought we were good in the first, really good. They were really good in the second, and neither team was as good as the other alternately in that. And then the third, I think, obviously the shorthanded goals. I mean, I'm not sure we would have drew it up like that. We're on the power play, and all of a sudden we're shorthanded. Now we have the lead a minute later, so good for the guys to get into attack mode, stay in attack mode. And I think from there we recognized that, like, let's get this thing to the finish line. It's a funny, I don't know if it's funny, harder game to play sometimes when you come out of a break like that. Things go your way early. You think maybe it's going to be an easy night. Maybe they went to the intermission the second period and says, well, maybe it'll be an easy night for us. So at the end of the day, we did what we had to do.
You warned, it was a week or two ago, that this is not the same San Jose team that you saw early in the year. In what ways are they maybe better than the standings indicate? More difficult to play against?
Well, listen, I know their record lately isn't as good as they would like, but they seem like when you're watching them, they're in every game and maybe finding ways to lose as opposed to win. I don't know how they'll put this one in the category, but when you have a power play and you're up a goal in the third, you want to extend the lead, not all of a sudden be behind. So it's a learning curve for whatever team goes through that. I just think they're just more competitive in terms of their attack mentality, how they want to play the game, and that's what I saw tonight as opposed to the first time. And in between, they'll know better. I don't want to be the voice of the Sharks on what's happened between now and the last time we saw them. I just feel like the video we've watched and the games I've followed, they just seem like they're a more competitive team, just learning to get to the finish line, which most young teams will take some time to do.
I'm guessing you would have taken that shorthanded goal, the first one, from anyone, but what's it like for a coach when you see a guy like Brayden McNabb be the guy that gets the momentum going and score that kind of goal?
Well, I mean, for us, it takes everybody. We can't just lean on. I talked about that, I think, this morning. Some of our guys hadn't scored in a while, and we're still winning games. Well, there's a great example of it. A D-man shorthanded goal, kind of leading the rush, and that's his move, too. We've seen it more than once. He's like a young Shane Knighty out there with those hands. At the end of the day, he's done it before, and he puts it in the right spot. He hits the net with that move. He does it a lot in the O-zone on kind of a low to high pass, but he did it off the rush too.
The team's ability, Bruce, you've mentioned this, to raise their level, to get to another level in game. Is that just a mark of a veteran team that's done a lot of winning?
I think it is for us. We're a good team. We're a veteran team, and I think guys care. So for coaches, it's how and when do you challenge that? Are we in or out tonight type of mentality, because that's what we look like. We were in the first, out in the second. So what's it going to be, boys? Type of thing. So and they usually respond very well, and it's been here for that mentality's been here a long time. But I know for myself with this group that if you pick the right spot, they'll usually respond. Give them information other nights, what we need to do better. Tonight it was more of, hey, are we going to let, because I thought it was a Celebrini line, are we going to let some teenagers kind of dictate the game tonight, or are we going to get to our game type of thing? And at the end of the day, we found a way to neutralize them in the third and get some offense.
What is it about Dorofeev, a young guy like that going through a slump, and he scores a goal, next shift all of a sudden everything's happening, he strips the puck of chances?
Yeah, I think he's had some chances, to be honest, not as many, and then you stop shooting and power play time dries up because Olofsson's back and he's hot, so you'd like to even balance that night sometimes, but it's like Ole's got the hot stick. We're not going to take it away from him, so there's a little bit of that he's got to work through himself, and he has. I think he's done a good job. Their line had a tough night with the plus-minus, but I don't know. The first goal, they win the face-off, and it ends up in our net in a strange goal, and the one from behind the, goal line, yeah, we needed to be harder in front of the net on the second goal as a group of five, but so sometimes that gets in your head too, so good for him and Howie to make that play, to stick with it. They're players we trust. They're out there against whoever they have to be out against. Howie hasn't played a lot of center, and Pav's a young guy. We had Holtz there. We had Schwinn, I think, for a while to have the two centermen. But at the end of the day, good on Pav. I think the guys are very happy for him. And hopefully off he goes. Sometimes that's what happens with goal scorers. They get one and look out.
You mentioned the Celebrini line. Another key player for the Sharks tonight was Will Smith. How difficult is it to game plan for a player like that when he's been pretty hot and cold? There's not really much tape on him.
We don't go out of our way for one player in this league very often. I'll say McDavid is one of those guys, and Draisaitl. But for us tonight, they looked like they wanted a certain matchup, so we needed to make sure that, as I said, you have to play through their hands. You have to make it hard on them. That doesn't mean you run anybody, but just make it hard and make them work for their ice. And I thought in the second period, we were a little light against them. And they're good effort players. The Smith goal, was that not the one Celebrini won the puck battle at the blue line against Schwinn? So that's a great teaching point for us tomorrow for Cole Schwinn. Hey, this is a 19-year-old kid, and these are the battles. You need to be able to sort of function in this environment and play well and establish yourself in the league. So it's not so much that we're game planning. It's know when they're on the ice and when they're going. Young kids, when they get hot, they have confidence. When things don't go their way, obviously, I mean, Ryan could speak to that in his locker room. You gotta keep their confidence up, and we were going through that with Pav right now. He's a young guy, so that's how we look at it. And if they're the line driving them tonight, then we have to play hard against them. It's that simple, and defend well. And I thought we did a better job of that in the third period than we did in the second.